Okay, three, two, one. Hey, it's Sally Steele, and welcome to the Sally Steele Rock Show. We have a very special guest today. He was a member of KISS for 14 years, and he's going to tell us all about him celebrating the 35th anniversary of the KISS Asylum Tour and much more. Very good friend, kind of. I don't see much anymore, but it's going to be great to see him here for a few minutes. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bruce Kulick. Let me get my little arrow here. Here we go. Bruce, are you there?
There I am.
Yeah. I'm new at this. There's a lot of buttons over here.
Oh, I know. Well, first of all, I just want to say thanks for the introduction. And a couple of things I want to just correct you or be more precise about, because that's me. It was only 12 years in KISS, okay?
Oh, okay.
84 to 96, okay? And actually, the most recent anniversary with KISS was really the 35th anniversary of Crazy Nights, which happened late last year, okay, kind of.
I can't keep track. You got.
I know. And you know, actually the latest one last year was an anniversary of Carnival of Souls anyway, because it came out in 97. So it being 2023, you know, whatever. Either way, we all love KISS and the connection and everything. And true, I know you well. Haven't seen you in a long time. It's not on purpose, not personal. Okay. I've been really, I mean, the pandemic, I stayed home a lot, of course. Well, obviously there wasn't a lot happening, but I was even a little, you know, kind of reserved about going back out there. And I love my home. I love Lisa and I have such a great time here. And I have so many ways to be creative in my home. And I could be very well entertained that even when I get invited out, I'm kind of like, what time do you go on? And they say 11 o'clock. And I'm like, you know what I mean? But, yeah. And you go, like, we all love Vamp, the people that know Las Vegas. And I did a really fun gig there. You know, like 21, right close to New Year's, not this past year, but we love Vamp, and most of the bands play so late there. It's crazy, you know, but you know, I always see your stuff. I know you're out there and you're popular, and I respect what you do.
Depends who you ask.
I also have not done a lot of interviews by design, just because I like to keep myself a little more exclusive in a sense, because I get asked by a lot of people. But I could not say no to the great Sally Steele. No way. Okay, because we rock Las Vegas, right? You know my guys that I love to play with here, and we know we have so many great musicians in the rock world, especially that have are living here and own homes and everything. So I had to come spend some time with you and get you up to speed with everything in the world of Bruce Kulick. Okay.
Yeah. Well, now, okay. So you still live here in Vegas. I just want to clarify.
Yeah, it's been 5 years now.
Okay.
And I absolutely love it. The home that I have, I could never, well, I'd have to be 5 times more famous, you know, to own this home in Los Angeles. Okay. I got really tired of so much about California and Los Angeles area. So very happy here in Vegas. Correct.
You're a great interior decorator. I love the red curtains. And
that's all Lisa. And what's remarkable is I didn't know that this room would become like a place to entertain. I do so many videos that I've created on my YouTube channel from this room. But it was really because, you know, most Vegas homes have a lot of windows and, you know, we have the extremities of a cold winter and of course the heat. So we just decided, let's make this is our entertainment room. We watch TV here and relax, big sectional. So there's these red curtains all around the room to cover really the sun and the weather. And meanwhile, it's just a perfect background. A good friend of mine from LA who loves video got me those lights. They can flicker and do crazy things too. And when he was finally here at my home, because it was a gift, he couldn't believe it. He was like, I'm finally in the room, you know, the room, you know what I mean? Because I've done, if you look at my YouTube channel, there's so much content where I'm sitting right here and sharing a story, sharing a guitar, talking about an anniversary or just whatever is up, you know, that I want to share.
Yeah, I have to remark what you said. Like, I don't do many interviews. Like you asked me, you said I'll do an interview. What's your theme? I just thought that was so funny.
Well, yeah, I didn't know how to say it. I just was, some people have these crazy angles with their interviews. They only want to know like a certain thing. But as soon as, to be honest, once I watched D's, I knew you just wanted to do, let's get up to speed with everything in Bruce's world. You know
Yeah,
what I
so like
mean?
I won't ask you like what colors your underwear and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly.
I know that it's red though, because that's the theme today.
Today
Okay.
it's red between my radioactive guitar. Where is it? Over here. And then, of course, my red
Ah,
scarf, which Lisa's going to laugh so hard when she sees that I wore this. Okay.
that is so great.
Because every interview I want to wear it. And she's like, no, don't lose that scarf.
Oh, no. I love it. I love it.
Okay.
Well, I
I
do
feel
want
like
to.
a dog. Anyway,
I
go ahead.
have some questions for you, Bruce. Now,
Yes.
since I've never interviewed you before,
Hmm.
now, i- how did that come about that you got, involved with Kiss? You just knew the guys from being from back east, or how did that come about?
Well, actually, I got to give credit to my older brother, Bob, who sadly
Mhm.
passed away in 2020. But
Yeah, I knew Bob.
yeah, of course you did. And he lived here even longer than me, obviously. He
Mhm,
was out here years before.
mhm.
And Bob, being a hot, session guy and someone on the scene in New York, wound up, and I mean, he has a really interesting history auditioning for them. And it was actually on the same day as Ace. And they went with Ace, of course, and the rest is fate and
Oh, I didn't
history.
know that.
But yeah,
Wow.
but they ran into each other in New York at studios, and then Bob was doing ghost guitar things for Kiss. He's on Alive 2 and a few other product. I know the Kiss fans out there really know everything. I don't have to get into everything, but then Paul's solo album and then Paul's solo tour, even when I was in the band. So he had that strong connection. But really, I met Paul Stanley and Gene during, hit Bob's relationship with them. Okay.
Uh,
And I did audition. It just came out. I finally told the story for the Creatures book. I did audition when they were looking to replace Ace, and I was very nervous, and it didn't go very well. Although Gene said great vibrato. Okay, so he knew I could play.
okay.
But it took '84 when they decided to ask me to do some ghost guitar work on Animalize, and then Mark St. John was ill, but they were still going to go tour, so they went to me. Okay, so now I'm the temporary guy in the band. Okay, and then I finished the 6-week European tour, and I was kind of vetted by more than just my brother, but I also did that session for Paul, and he was very happy. So he knew, all right, we'll just use Bruce for the tour, and then Mark will get better, and we go back to the Mark being the new guitarist. And then,
Mhm.
as fate would have it, they tested out Mark on a couple of shows. I had the home team advantage. You know what I mean? I did so many
Mhm.
shows already, and they really liked what I was adding to the band. So they sent Mark home and invited me to be the guitarist, and that was in December of 1984. Even though I played with them from late September through
Mhm.
that. Now, who knew it was going to be 12 years? And the only thing that could stop that version or me being the lead guitarist was, of course, the reunion. So I wear the kind of Kiss family emblem flag. I wave it very high and I wear it proudly. You know what I mean?
Okay. Now, during that time, it was when they didn't wear makeup.
Correct.
Now, when would you have worn makeup and dressed like Ace Frehley if they asked you to?
Yeah, that's a great question, Sally. I know as a job opportunity, it would have been tempting, but I'm glad I was never actually asked. And it was easier for Tommy Thayer, who could do that role so well, to walk right in when they
Mhm.
realized that Ace just like disappeared. You know what I mean? And he doesn't want to be in the band anymore.
Uh-huh.
I would have really kind of stained my years. I wasn't asked to play exactly like Ace. I wasn't asked to dress like Ace, of course, or
Mhm.
or do any of his iconic, kind of stage things and exciting shooting rockets and you know what I mean, everything that Ace was known for. But for me to become the spaceman, it would have been awkward. Now, I missed being in Kiss, of course, and not being. I thought I was always a great fit as a musician and as a personality, but at the cost of becoming the spaceman, it's the fate really did the right thing for me, and I still am part of the Kiss family, so it hasn't destroyed my career in any way. It's only helped it thrive.
Well, did it ever get to that point where like, hey, we want you to wear makeup and dress like Ace?
No, no, it was never considered in my era because we were the non-makeup band. And
Okay.
really, to break it down for everybody that's not aware, even if you're a Kiss fan or mildly aware, MTV had the reunion, you know what I mean, by us all playing acoustic, non-makeup, obviously. But
Mm,
the promoters were going absolutely insane, throwing money around to Paul and Gene to the point where it was time for a reunion. And
okay.
of course, it had to happen. So I was never asked like, "Well, we're going to try makeup for a while." There was no reason. Okay,
Yeah.
and it took off. I mean, they played Tiger Stadium was the first show, and then they were huge. And then it just got to the point where it seemed for Gene and Paul, financially speaking, certainly, that leaving the makeup on was a better card for them to play. You know what I mean? So that's
Mhm.
why they've stayed in makeup all these years.
Okay, but so what happened? It just like they called you up and say, "Hey, Tommy is going to be our guy now," or just
So by then, after the reunion tour was showing its cracks, uh, Ace literally caused so much turmoil, and Tommy worked for the band that they just inserted Tommy in on a couple of things, and they realized Tommy's the new guitar player. You know what I mean? He's Spaceman. And then when Peter Criss, they had their issues with Peter. All of a sudden, Eric Singer walks in. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I was never approached about helping out, filling in, being the Spaceman. For Eric, obviously, that was a perfect fit. And Eric being behind the drum kit for the 5 years that I worked with him in Kiss, it's a little easier to suddenly just put on the cat makeup and sit behind the kit and do
Mhm.
a great job. And Eric's a terrific drummer. I know you've met him many times.
Oh, yeah.
And Tommy and I are friends, and Tommy's a great guitar player
Hey,
who
does he
knew
live
how to
in
bleed. Huh?
Does he live in Vegas? Tommy live in
I
Vegas?
mean, I don't think he owns a home here, but he lives
Okay.
here. And it's kind of funny. Would run into him at the post office or somewhere in town on the strip. But
Mhm.
yeah, Tommy also. So it's kind of funny
He's
that
a
Eric
doll. He's a doll. I'm so
wants to
glad you
be
guys
here.
are friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys
Gene
could
for
have
a
been
little while flirted with Vegas, but then he decided, no, I got to be in California. The family wants me in California.
okay.
So that was the end of that.
You guys could have been twins. So I've seen the pictures of you in '84 with the big hair.
I
You look
know, I
like
know.
you
Of
guys
course.
are total twins.
Yeah.
That was great. And I just saw some pictures. Now, you and him were doing a Kiss convention together, or what was that picture?
So which one? Who was I with? Let me.
And it was a group photo. It was Tommy and you and some other people. I
Yeah,
didn't look that
that.
close.
I mean, there were times when we have done Kiss conventions together, but not in quite a
I,
while because it
yeah, I
hasn't
think
been
that's
in.
what it was. I don't know. It
Yeah.
was something a group photo. I don't know, but it was a good picture anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Well, sometimes on the Kiss cruise we take pictures together, but I'm not really sure which one you're referring to. But
It might
anyway,
have
we all
been.
get along. I mean, it's all.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of respect. I get along with Ace and Peter too. There's
Yeah,
no there's
that
no
was my
weird things.
question. Now,
Yeah.
that was my next question. Have you and Ace ever crossed paths? You know, what did you talk about?
Yeah, Ace. We've done some of the conventions together, but we also did last year. It was a really big event that was
Mhm.
very interesting. I don't think it will ever happen again, but it was called Creatures Fest in Nashville that someone put together that wanted to promote having me, Ace Frehley, Peter Criss, and Vinnie Vincent, and all four of us were there. And my band,
Really?
my local
Oh,
guys that I like to play with, huh?
how did I miss that? Oh my
Well,
goodness.
it sold out. It was 1,000 people, but it was in Nashville, and it was only really advertised and promoted on Facebook. But there were plenty of magazines that showed the what happened. You know what I mean? Especially
Mhm.
because I did play with Vinny and Ace, which was very weird. And my guys, my band, Brent Fitz, Zach Throne and Todd Kearns. We backed Peter Criss. He came up and did a song with us. When I did
Awesome.
my set, so that was a lot of fun. But Google Creatures Fest, and you'll
Okay.
see everything about that event. It
I
was
don't want
pretty
to see
wild.
that. I don't want to see that. Everything I missed, I wasn't there.
Well, I'm trying to be educational here. You want to hear what's been up besides the two. I mean, last year, if I look at 22, it was a lot of Grand Funk shows because we're post pandemic, sort of, right? So everybody's out,
Mhm.
gigging, and a lot of gigs with Grand Funk, and I've been with them 22 years now.
Yeah,
and we get along
talk
great.
about them yet. That's
Yeah,
coming.
yeah, but I'm just letting you know. But on top of that, I did that Creatures Fest thing, which was big, and then I did, Kiss decided not one cruise, two cruises. You know what I mean? Their last cruises in makeup to perform, and I along with my guys I just mentioned, we were on both of those too. So that was
Uh,
very exciting.
yeah, and I know that you're like always busy. I think did I meet you at Monster Circus? Was that where we met?
Yeah, it might have been then, and that's when I
Okay.
met my wife Lisa. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, don't. I've got questions about her, so just hold on.
Okay.
You're getting ahead of me now, Brew. No,
Yep.
my next question is like, you're always touring, and I want to mention that you're, playing with Grand Funk Railroad for
Yep.
some time, and you're going to be here March 3rd in Vegas.
Yes.
So I'm coming to that show, so put me on the
Awesome.
list.
First of all, I love the Golden Nugget.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And, there's something about that venue. It's a small showroom, but it's really exciting always.
Mm-hmm,
And the crowd's always fun. And then I have like a guilty pleasure. A lot of people are aware. I love the Rat Pack, and Frank Sinatra is my favorite. And
yep,
of course, the dressing room belonged to Frank, was built for Frank. And none of the other guys care because there's plenty of other dressing rooms on the other side backstage.
yeah.
So they just go there, and I take over the Sinatra room. You know what I mean? And I'm
Yeah,
in heaven there.
I've
I'm
done
in heaven.
plenty of interviews there. Yeah, I
Sure, sure.
like
It's
it.
wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
got
the
the
Nugget,
original.
we'll be there twice this year, actually, but March 3rd, and absolutely, I'd love to see you there. That'll be wonderful.
Yeah, put me on the list.
I know. I'll get you. You just contact me the week before, and we'll get you hooked up. Absolutely.
Okay, great. Another reason I would like to say hello to Don Brewer. I've never met him.
Sure. Oh,
You
yeah.
know, now,
Yep.
now getting back. Now let's talk about Grand Funk a little bit.
Sure.
His fans are going to be disappointed, but I want to talk about Grand Funk Railroad. Now, how did that connection come about with you and that joining them?
Well, I always say in the music business, networking is very important, or just even if you're not intentionally networking, if you get an opportunity to tour with other people and they dig what you do, they're going to notice you. You know what I mean? So what happened was I was actually working with Michael Bolton. You remember I had a band called Blackjack with Michael Bolton years ago. He was called Belotin then. Then he went solo and he was Bolton. Okay. Still doing rock and roll though. Not what he's more famous for in the last 40 years, but back in 83, we toured with Bob Seger, and very often during certain years, Don Brewer was the drummer with Bob Seger. So that's an arena tour, and we're doing dates with them. So I got to meet him, his future wife, who we met then, that I knew also because she knew someone in with the Bolton camp. I was on the short list. You know what I mean? I would see Don at a NAMM show. You remember the NAMM shows, of course.
Yeah.
And we always would say hi. And all of a sudden, he contacts me. This is like late 1999 or something like that, and says, "Hey, Mark Farner has a solo career now. We have a terrific singer named Max Carl, but we need a strong guitarist. You're on the short list. Love to bring you out to Michigan to audition. Not really audition, just see how it feels. He already knew I was a pro." And it clicked. And they offered me the gig. And I just can't believe this is like the 23rd year. And we're celebrating like Grand Funk's 55th year or the 50th anniversary of We're an American Band. That album, okay? And it's Mel Shocker and, of course, Don Brewer. And Max Carl is a terrific frontman singer. And Tim Cashin, my dear buddy, plays keyboard and sings like a bird, who used to also play with Seeger and other people. So it's a terrific band. It's really exciting. But I just want to be clear. Excuse me. We don't really go on tour. Like Kiss goes on a tour. They're gone for 3 months and then a little break and then they're gone another 2 months. We just do those weekend fly dates. Okay.
Well, that's the best. You can be with Lisa during the week.
Exactly.
Now,
and it looks like this year is really the schedule is quite full. But as long as I'm home for those 4 days or something, 4 or 5 days, I'm in heaven.
All right, cool. Now, I was a big fan too of Mark Farner. Has he ever sat in with you guys? Sat in with the band?
No, they are not on greatest terms.
That's
but
my question.
and that happens, yeah.
Okay.
But I've done some work with Mark. He used to do quite a few of the fantasy camps, rock and roll fantasy camps. David Fishoff's thing.
Yeah.
And I would be there. And I remember when I met him, I was very clear with him that I have a lot of respect for what he did in Grand Funk, and don't look at me as I can't replace him. I'm just there as it's a job for me, and
What did
appreciate that. And we wound up when he did Howard Stern that year for the fantasy camp. Kip Winger on bass, Sandy Gennaro on drums, Bruce Kulick on acoustic guitar, Mark Farner on guitar, Teddy Zigzag on keyboards, Howard Stern. So obviously, Mark knows I have nothing to do with any of the stress that those guys have been on.
Just, you probably don't know, but why was there such a big rift? Why did they split apart, Mark and Don?
I got to be honest. I hear one story from that camp, another one from that camp. I don't know. I wasn't there. It's like it was always awkward for me to hear Gene and Paul talk about Ace and Peter. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was hoping that Mark and Don by now would have healed the rift. But now Don, he was the one that wrote, my favorite song by them, American Band. Yep. And he sings it. And he's still kicking ass, singing
Absolutely.
It, doing it every
Absolutely.
night. And I got to ask you, since he wrote that song, I mean, that song there were some crazy times back then. Has he ever told you a story that you can tell us real quick about?
I mean, sometimes he would reference the lyrics because obviously it would come up in conversation.
Yeah.
And it really was for 1974 or 5, some sort of, or 3, whatever year he actually wrote it. I wasn't around then either, no. But he was reflecting on the sign of the times kind of thing. He was influenced by everything. Look, Sweet Sweet Connie was a professional groupie who I met during the Kiss years, okay?
Oh, you did?
She didn't have her way with me, okay? I was very, very no way. Okay. But the point is, Don's lyrics were brilliant. First of all, it's a feel-good anthem, and it's got the title, and it's got that catchy thing. But then the lyrics really tell the story of a band on the road, and 4 young, chicks from Omaha or whatever, and however the lyrics go. I'm not a good lyric guy, but he just
to tear that hotel down.
Yeah, exactly. They really did. He did capture the vibe of what it was to be in Grand Funk. So it's pretty fascinating, and I always love playing that song. It's very exciting.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear it. Now, I covered that. What other musical endeavors have you been involved in? Yeah, you mentioned Michael Bolton and Bob Seger, and tell me if there is anybody that you would like to tour with that you haven't toured with.
Well, look, I always would fantasize. I'm a big Beatle fan, so I'm always fascinated with McCartney and what he's done. And there, a lot of the bands that are out there now, there's so much heritage groups out there. I got to admit, I had so many bucket list things happen from the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp. I got to play with Jack Bruce. Okay. I was Eric Clapton for Jack Bruce and Simon Kirke on drums. Okay. That's pretty cool. At a London camp. That was so exciting. I remember performing with Dickie Betts from Allman Brothers. And
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
I just had a lot of really cool Roger Daltrey, performing the Who hits, playing at the House of Blues for the camp. So I'm not really scratching at the walls of who could I play with? You know what I mean? I've been pretty blessed.
Now, what are you most proud of in your career, either both business and personally and professionally? What are you most proud of in your career and life?
Well, I'm very, very pleased that I've been able to stay connected, engaged with the fans. Okay. And at the same time, still stay active musically, both creatively and kind of artistically. So that's a big thing to do. And especially when you're getting, to my age, you know what I mean? To still be active and still be connected in the music business and with your fans. So that's really blessed. I mean, Sally, I get, new fans that they're barely a teenager and they know all my contributions to Kiss and they're fascinated with who I am as a guitarist and a musician. That's awesome. It's just awesome. And then of course, what the pandemic did, as terrible as it was, it made me learn new things. So I learned how to record in the home. I learned how to create videos on iMovie, and be creative that way, which was really wonderful. So those tools are there. I learned how to film myself properly, right? I learned how to, certainly just be creative with taking the pictures of the things and how to present everything. So I wasn't that guy who no, I'm going to stick with a flip phone. Do you know what I'm saying? I want to keep evolving. Again. Don't tell me you got a flip phone. No. But
those are popular. They're coming back. I saw it.
All right. They might be coming back. But the point I'm saying is the ones that no, I don't want anything that I got to push a button like that.
I know. It's hard to be technical.
I want to keep growing and learning and connecting with the fans. And I'm just proud of that. I've been doing more and more through these past years with my wife, Lisa, who I love so much. And she sings really well. And we have a cooking thing. I love the diversity of what I can do. It's hard sometimes. And sometimes too much comes at me. And that's when we have the 4 a.m. meeting. Okay. And I don't mean because we've been up all night, because it woke us up. And then I'm like, Lisa, I got too many things coming up. I can't even sleep. We gotta take a look at the schedule. We gotta take a look at the priorities, and we gotta start making some decisions. That happened pre-cruise. I remember that. I had too much going on.
How did you and Lisa meet?
Ironically, we actually did meet during the Kiss years, but it was just a brief, where Eric Carr introduces me at a meet and greet. Hey, you'd like Bruce here. You know what I mean? And I didn't realize that was during the Asylum tour. But years later, of course, she was actually involved with a friend interviewing some LA musicians and other known musicians. And she was invited by some people to see the Monster Circus, the thing you saw at the then Hilton. Okay. And that was with Dee Snider and John Corabi and Rudy Sarzo. And I remember being interviewed by her, and she caught my eye, and we kept in touch. I was dating somebody else that crashed and burned. She was getting out of a relationship too. And then once we met, it was pretty clear to both of us that we should be together. And here we are. Wait
a minute. Didn't I interview you back then?
You probably did too, but I remember doing different interviews there. Yeah.
Wait, I remember I interviewed John Corabi and Rudy Sarzo. I don't know where that interview is, but
yeah, you don't know where that is. Just like I'm not sure Lisa knows where hers are either, but she was there, and it was great to it's funny that we have that connection, though.
Was it love at first sight? Hey, I kind of like her. Or,
I was immediately drawn to her. I couldn't figure out, some of the things that were appealing, other than, well, she was really pretty and everything, but it was just. I always got this little nervous feeling about it too. So there you go. That shows love.
I got butterflies. Bruce Kulick had butterflies. That's cool.
Exactly. The little butterflies. Yeah.
Well, I guess, you said keep the interview brief. So
no, we can go a little longer, but I like it. It's better. I can't stand when someone sends me something that's an hour and a half long. How are you going to really enjoy that? Okay.
Well,
what else was on your list?
Well, we mostly covered everything, but, you talk so much about the fans, and I wanted to ask you, tell us something that your fans don't know about you, that they might not know, something about you or your career that they may not know.
Okay. What's ironic is just recently, since I know I have all these trips with Grand Funk, I was thinking about, when I travel, I'm so high maintenance in all these silly little ways, right? I was actually telling Lisa, I go if I take one of these, the thing that holds the phone, just take it on the road. I could then do on the road with Bruce. And then I would show my bathrobe and say I can't travel without my bathrobe, and this is why,
I love that.
I just feel like maybe, I think people would like that kind of nonsense, or there'll be the day where I'm like, look what I got. I was so stressed flying. I have a new finger crack. Now, this is what I do for finger cracks. I take new skin. Or sometimes I got to use crazy glue. So I might just do this behind the scenes of me, because I'm a character, let me tell you.
I know. That would be so cool.
I'm glad you vetted me. There you go. Okay.
You've got to do it.
Yeah, it might make it more interesting for me. Or how about just in this last weekend, the people in Louisiana are wonderful. I can't eat their food, though. I just can't digest Creole and fried stuff. I know it's delicious, but it doesn't like me. Anyway, but let's say my shower. I couldn't. I was wondering why the floor at the hotel was just a little wet, and then I looked. Oh, I tried to move the shower door; it wouldn't close, and I'm going like, I don't have time to have some guy come up and fix this. You know what I mean? I don't want him in my room. I don't want him in my bathroom.
Okay.
I'll just deal with it. So now I made sure the shower head is like angled away and far, so the water doesn't all come out and make my bathroom wet. So it's like survival, but of course nothing like those survival shows. It's not Survivor, but I'm just saying there's always the toilet that runs, the refrigerator that's too loud. I could give you a long list. It's so
The
silly.
light that comes through the curtains and never stops.
Oh, I got a clip for that. I carry a clip, There's always something, But what are you going to do? I mean, even in your own home, you have control, but there's always something that needs to be fixed or something. But when you think about travel, you're up against so many elements and things that are out of your control,
So basically what your fans don't know about you is you say you're high maintenance. Is that answers the question?
And sometimes they know if they get a chance to hang out. I mean, Lisa and I threw on a really exciting event over New Year's that I know you were aware of a little later on, and it was just a VIP thing. It had 4 events, but it was the Bruce Kulick New Year's Eve weekend experience. Okay. And it's kind of funny. I know Gene's booking a really interesting thing coming up in May here in Vegas too, which about time, especially with KISS Museum being at the Rio, by the mini golf and everything.
Yeah.
So he's going to do something with up close and personal with the fans,
Okay.
But it was a lot of work for Lisa and I. It came off fine. But I know that those people that were there, because it was a small crowd, about 40 people, they got to see like if there was a moment like, why is it so cold in here? You know what I mean? I'll yell out like, shut the door. You know what I mean? So they got to see the real BK. Yeah.
Cool.
But in a fun way. They all love me. They know I'm a character. But the high maintenance, it's not that I'm into that I have to be treated like royalty or anything like that. It's just simple things, get me a little nutty. So I just try to make sure everything is, like if you go to someone's house, my mother taught me, Sally, have a seat. Would you like something to drink? Do you need something to nosh on? Okay. And that's me. I welcome you, anybody who's in my world to like be comfortable, relax. Let's have a good time. Anything I can do. But there are people who are just so awkward, with social things or just common courtesy. So I try to treat other people the way I like to be treated, and don't expect me to eat all fried food, or I'll be very upset. Correct? Because I can't. Okay.
Okay, well, now you just brought up a question. I got a quick question.
Sure.
What you were talking about your mom and everything. What were you like growing up? Were you like a shy kid? Were you bullied? Were you just different, an outcast, or were you just like one of the guys?
I tell you, my mother shared so much of who I was as a child to Lisa that it was really refreshing to hear it back from Lisa, because it came straight from my mom. My mom didn't lose any, smarts until the very end. Okay. She was just with it. And she told Lisa, I was aware that I was shy. I was aware that I was quiet. Then, of course, as soon as I was able to talk, I didn't shut up, as you can tell. You know what I mean? She was aware that I would rather stay home than go run to the park. Okay. And get crazy outside. I would rather watch TV and I used to draw sometimes. I loved music. So I was kind of an introvert, but I did like people, but I was very shy. Okay.
Yeah.
And not that long ago, about probably a month ago, all of a sudden people from my grade school all found each other. Okay. And we did like a Zoom, like 6 of us or 8 of us or something. And I remember, for example, there was a girl in my grade school that I had a little crush on, and there she is, and I'm like, you're aware I had a real crush on you back then. I didn't even know how to say hello to you. I was shy. I was just remarkably shy. Okay. But everybody, I know I've run into some of these people, especially more like the high school people, who will say, like, at least that version of me, that I wasn't very different. I loved my music. I was, kind of just not a really loud person. I didn't want to party and go crazy. They didn't feel like anything changed that much when I'd see them at the Grand Funk show and we chat about old times. They said, you haven't changed. Don't worry about it. But the grade school Bruce, the very young Bruce, was very quiet and reserved. And apparently I guess I blossomed a bit better years later, you know.
Yeah. Who knew that
Yeah,
shy
who knows?
introvert would be a Kiss, you know?
Exactly. Well, and that comes with a certain look. If you have that golden opportunity to be part of a famous band like that, an iconic famous band, I mean,
Hmm.
you know, that band is known around the world and probably on other planets if they exist. So, you know, why not embrace it? Why not share it? And I think one of the things that my fans find refreshing is I'm not out there to slag anybody. You know what I mean? Everybody played their role. This is great music, a great catalog to celebrate. And my mother also taught me if you don't have anything good to say about somebody, you know, don't say it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not out there to trash anyone. When I'm ready for my book, and I will do that, but not when I'm busy like I'm busy now. It's going to be about the creative experience of being in Kiss, not about and then you know what I mean.
Yeah.
This guy, you know, I just don't see any upside to it. But those guys, you know, they did go through a lot, so I get it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
They were like a family that fell apart, but I like just telling the very cool story. And again, I'm blessed to be a part of such a big band.
I'm just going to tell a little story really quick. Can I tell
Yeah,
you his story?
sure.
Well, when I was 14 years old back in Indiana, and this was when Kiss, was just kind
Oh
of,
yeah, and Indiana is great for Kiss. Sure, sure.
yeah. And I used to go early to the convention center and I would see them all the time,
Hmm.
backstage. I
Right,
took pictures and everything. And I'm going to tell you this story because had them without makeup. And one time I was standing, I had, this was the 70s. I had a little flash cube thing, but I was
right,
always
sure.
taking pictures there early. And they were packing up after a show and they were all getting in the limo. And I was like up on a ledge, like,
Right,
just kind of watching, just
sure.
curious. I didn't really go into the dressing room that much. And they're all getting in the car, and Peter Criss just all of a sudden like, grab her, she's got a camera. And I
Oh
just kind of
wow.
like look and walk away. And it's just like, if I hadn't had the camera I have today, I could have had the first
Oh yeah,
picture
of
of
course.
Chris without makeup.
I mean, think of the
But,
challenge of that when they were
yeah.
trying to always be completely private during their makeup years. And then, of course, you know, the cracks started to happen. People would catch them without it. And then they take off the makeup anyway because they
Was
kind
that
of wore
funny
out the makeup.
when Gene was dating Cher and he had to wear a
Yeah, yeah.
mask like the
You
Lone
see him with
Ranger?
just like part of his face and all that. It's pretty
Yeah,
fascinating. But
I
what I
know.
love about the band is there's that era, and I wouldn't have had that opportunity without the famous makeup era. But I do see it as a big, a really big history, you know, as they like to call it. And it would be really curious, not that I have anything to share, that I know anything, but it'd be really curious to see how it's all wrapped up and final, you know, which is their intention to stop being on the road and do their final big show. We'll see what happens.
The farewell after the farewell after
Yeah,
the farewell.
exactly. Yeah,
Keeps
you
going.
know that.
Well, I know
Well,
you.
musicians never really retire. And I've had doctors tell me that. You guys don't retire. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Why? You know, and for me to
Mhm.
do what I'm doing, I couldn't be a baseball player at my age. Of course not. So,
Yes.
but here I am still playing songs from from 30, 40 years ago. That's kind of
Mhm.
crazy. Don and Mel should freak me out. I mean, you know, you think about they were active in 68, 69, and here we
Oh,
are in 2023.
yeah.
You know, now
It's so old.
it takes it a lot out of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the music, to play music and to entertain people, is a gift, and it's something that when you have that opportunity, you got to go for it as long as you can. And I really believe that Don Brewer probably won't retire until his body, you know, he can't move. You know what I mean? And so he can't play the drums. That's what's going to happen. You know,
Yeah.
for me, I don't know. I'd like to pick and choose as the years go on and see what I really want to do. The travel is the worst part for me,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
there's exciting parts of that too. But just you know how hard it is to travel. The airports are
Yeah.
crazy. The
Mhm.
planes are packed. The people are nuts, and it's always a challenge. But either way, what I do is a blessing in the big picture of the fact that I can still play an instrument and perform and entertain people, which I know you'll see right here at the Golden Nugget
Oh,
here in Las Vegas,
yeah.
and it's
And
and
you
it's
do it
that's a
well.
real pleasure.
You do it well.
Oh, thank
Although
you.
I want you to start those little videos. Like I want to see the one in your robe.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna. I'm.
So,
You know,
what?
Lisa said no. You're taking it this weekend. You could start. on the road with the BK, something like that,
Yeah.
So
Just
thanks.
don't, just
I'm
don't
glad you
flash
like that.
anybody. Just don't flash anybody like
No,
Tim
no, no,
Allen.
no. It would definitely be PG. There will be nothing weird about it. It's not going to be a Tommy Lee one. Don't worry about that. Okay.
No, that thing with Tim Allen and Pam Anderson. She's like, he
Yeah, yeah.
flashed me 40 years ago,
No,
whatever.
I mean, but not long ago on Instagram. I think it was right when that tour was ending, or during that big tour. I think he did something with his private part right on Instagram, and then he removed it. But it was already out there. You know what I mean?
I saw. I missed that, but I did. I was when they were here at Allegiant Stadium, and he pulled his pants down. I got all the
Oh,
footage.
right. There's always that too. Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
wish them a lot of luck. John Five is a tremendous guitar player, and I think that makes sense. That Mick, who must have been in terrible pain, I'm sure the doctor said you can't do this. You know what I mean? That they're carrying on. And there they go. People want to be. They want to hear Motley Crue. They're a terrific band. So John will bring a lot of energy into the group.
Yeah, I love Mick, and I've seen Motley Crue more than any other band.
Sure.
But I think that John Five is going to create a new excitement about the band.
There will be something different. I mean, he could play anything, but I'm sure they'll keep it, where it's Motley Crue. You know what I mean? I love John's videos with his hairless cat. You know what I mean?
I know.
He's incredible on the guitar.
What's that cat's name?
I don't know. I don't remember, but I know he shows the cat sometimes. And he's such a huge Kiss fan. It's ridiculous. It's embarrassing.
Oh, yeah.
He even has like a Kiss Instagram or something about because he collects a lot of the vintage stuff. He's got quite the collection. So
I know he came up to me at my awards show during sound check, and I was really busy, and I'm running around.
Right.
He's like, it was sound check, and he's like, "Hey, Sally, you want to see something really cool?" And I was busy. I was going to say no, but I go, "What is it, John?" And he's like, "Look, a picture of you and Gene Simmons."
Yeah, there you go.
It's on the Kiss Mania site. I go,
yep.
That's funny. Get out there.
You know what? I just found something yesterday that I'll share with him now that you told me that, because I was going through some of the stuff for my brother, and I found a very rare guitar pick. I'm going to share it with John later.
Yeah.
And say because I know he would know. It was like from '76 the pick. Okay, a very rare one.
that picture was like from like '74, I think.
Yeah, no, he's obsessed with the makeup years. He's got every poster. He's got belt buckles from like anything from that. He's just totally into it. So, all good.
Great.
Hey, it's a Kiss world, and we all just live in it, Sally. I hate to tell you.
Yeah, well, that's great, and that's why I wanted to talk to you. Being, it seems like I've lived my whole life, since I was 13, through Kiss and rock and roll. So, of course, I'm a fan of yours. And
I celebrate it. We all celebrate it, and it's all based on good feeling, happy, exciting music and entertaining people. And what can I say? It's been a pleasure talking to you. This is exciting.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. I can't wait to see you on March 3rd. Everybody come out to the Golden Nugget. Let's watch rock this.
Yeah, you'll really enjoy. I find more and more people, not that all my Kiss fans totally know Grand Funk, because they were even before Kiss, okay? They were already very famous when Kiss first was getting out there. But they see what I bring to the songs and how much soloing I get to do and how many songs that are actually familiar to them that they may not realize until they see the band. Everybody loves the show. Okay. So I look forward to seeing you there. And I just wanted to give a shameless plug to my website, which is brucekulick.com. And of course my YouTube channel, which is my name, it's very easy to find. On any of the social media, you'll find all the links to everything. And I loved engaging with the fans. So please reach out if you haven't already. And you got to catch up about some of the things I did last year. Okay. You'll look up Creatures Fest. Okay. You'll look up the Kiss Cruise. Okay. And you can go visit it all on my website. It's all there. Okay.
And I'm going to wait for those videos on the road with.
BK. Yeah. I'll start. You might see one posted this weekend. Let's see. Okay, it won't take me long to find something to post about. That's silly.
Well, will it be on Facebook or Twitter or what?
I'll probably put it on I'll put it on Twitter, Instagram. I'll put it everywhere. Yeah.
I can't wait. Okay. Well, we'll see you March 3rd. Thanks for your time today, Bruce. Wonderful. Tell Lisa I said hello.
I will. All right. You be well, Sally. Thanks again, and be safe, be happy, and I look forward to seeing you soon. All right. Take care.
See you too.
Right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.